And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I'm Michael Delon, and today I am talking with Jelena Mijajlovic.
Oh my God. Perfect.
Did I get it right?
Yes, that was amazing.
Awesome. Jelena, thank you for being my guest today and squeezing me into your calendar. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
You are welcome. This is going to be a really fun conversation because Jelena and her team, they work with business owners. Her company is My VA 360. If you're thinking about needing help with tasks and things to get things off your plate, to take your business to the next level, you've thought about a virtual assistant, you don't know what to do, where to go, how to get them, stay tuned because Jelena is going to tell us all about it. So Jelena, as we dive into that conversation, tell me, how in the world did you get doing what you do today?
Okay, well, it's not really a long story. It's quite normal, but then it was really it was great for me. It was a great start, and it is just growing. So we're going in the right direction. So I was in corporate for a very long time. But I'm not gonna say bad about corporate because I learned so many things and so many tricks, which led me, to have my own business right now. And I had one child at a time, my son. Now I have two kids, so I'm juggling a lot of things. So I had my son at the time, and I just felt at one point, because I was working full time from my home, it just became so overwhelming, with him being there, like with him all day long, starting 8 a.m. I end up, finish at 5:30. And I was like, I need a different schedule. This is not going to work out for me. I don't feel good working like this.
Yeah.
And then I was working as a virtual assistant on the side. I came about some articles and how to become a virtual assistant. So I was like, this is interesting. And it was firstly based on like how to work from home, working mom, working from home, things like that. I did my research, and then I started with one client on my own, where I was just, handling their inbox, doing some admin work, and it just clicked. I was like, I can just turn this into a business. So I took the step, I resigned, and I said, it's going to be everything or nothing. And I think that was the best business decision that I've made. It just led me to become what I am today, which is, a successful business owner, if you will, a businesswoman. And I can now juggle my family and business from my home, from my office, wherever I want. I can be anywhere in the world and still run this entire firm in all of our assistants. So that's kind of my benefit of creating that life balance for myself and my family.
I love it. The business juggler. Who knew? I always come up with names for my guests. I didn't tell you that part.
Okay.
I just always think about that. So you actually lived what you help other people do. You were struggling trying to get everything done. And so you were able to figure out how to manage all of that. You became a virtual assistant. So you've done the job. And then you realize there are more business owners who are struggling with all of these, as we say, these plates that we have spinning. And whether it's an overflowing inbox or a task that needs done, a project, a report, whatever, there are assistants who can help. Now, and I want to unpack something because I think a lot of business owners have a misunderstanding that years ago, they would think a virtual assistant, somebody who does this kind of on the side nights and weekends. And that used to be how it is. But today they're like on the job all the time. They work your hours. Talk a little bit about that to educate our audience about a virtual assistant is like a teammate who just happens not to be sitting next to you, but they're a Zoom call away. Is that fair?
Exactly. You're absolutely right. And I've also had some prospects come to me and say, like, I've never used a virtual assistant before. Is that a person? That would be like a number one question. Yes, that is a person. Now, people are more educated on remote work through COVID and everything that we've been through, like the whole world. Now, everybody most people know what a virtual assistant is, but then you still need to educate them on how that's going to work versus like old school person sitting next to you or sitting in outside of your door where you can just,
Right.
call their name and they come in and they just do whatever you need them to do. So it is entirely about communication. It is entirely about trust, which needs to be built between you and the assistant. And as you said, they are only a Zoom call away. And we provide dedicated support, which is exactly what you said. So you get assigned with an assistant, then becomes your support for everything that you need. It's not a random person. We're not switching people around. It's not like you every day you get a task doer who's going to complete some tasks and be done. This is really your teammate, your dedicated assistant who answers your calls, who answers your emails, who's really a click away from you for anything that you need.
Right. And that's really important to understand, because it's like having and it's, it depends on how you use them. We have a couple, and one's an executive assistant for my son, who's my chief operating officer. He has a virtual assistant who's his executive assistant. They talk every week. She does all kinds of things. I'm in communication with her. She is amazing. Right. And she is part of our team. We consider her part of our team. Now, the cool thing is she only works a certain number of hours a week by her choice. She's like, that's all I want to work. But if I think it's 20 hours a week is what she works, I think we get 20 hours a week out of her. If I had an employee that worked 20 hours a week, I'd get about 7, because people are lazy. Did I say that? Virtual assistants, what I've learned is they are worth their weight in gold, because they're there and they work hard, they get the stuff done, and it is communication and trust. So what are a few of the tasks or things a business owner can hand off to a virtual assistant to really start freeing up the entrepreneur's time, so that we can focus on generating revenue? Really is where we need to be, right? What are some things y'all can handle?
I love your points. You're absolutely, like, everything that you said is absolutely to the dot. Like, having someone that can just do the hours that you need them to work versus a full-time employee or person in-house, where you have these working hours and then you have the idle hours, which are totally unnecessary, where they, go grab a coffee or whatever. But when you have a virtual assistant, they only track the actual working hours. Now, we provide mainly executive support, like you said, in social media management. I think that those two services would be why we chose those services, is based on the requests that we've been receiving. So that's where the struggle is for most business owners. Because we serve small to medium-sized businesses, they need someone who can handle the back-end work, which is what eats up your time. So like juggling your emails, admin work, having everything in folder, project management, keeping things up to date, presentations, invoicing, those small little things that when you compile them, they will eat up a few hours of your day, which you can spend those hours somewhere else, wherever, reading a book, going outside, taking a long shower, whatever that makes you happy, truly. So I think that that's where the struggle is for small business owners, small to medium size, because this is cost affordable, like cost effective. You can afford a service, you only use the hours that you need, and you get your time back.
Yeah. And that right there is huge. You get your time back. And I can tell you without question, having a virtual assistant who's competent as an executive support team member, right? And I think there's a lot of business owners, honestly, small business owners who have need a mindset shift, because there are a lot of business owners who aren't, meaning their business owns them, because they haven't shifted their mind to say, no, I'm the CEO of my company. And if you look at CEOs of large corporations, they all have executive assistants and teams who do all of that stuff. That's how small business owners need to think. Now, we might not be able to afford a full-time executive assistant. That's okay. That's why Jelena has her team, so that she can bring you a qualified person who can start working with you. And if you freed up over the next 90 days, if you freed up 10 hours a week as a business owner CEO, 10 hours a week to focus on your business, growing your business, meeting with clients, meeting with centers of influence, referrals, what would that do to your business? It would multiply the revenue and help you see that having an executive support team member is not a cost. It is an investment, because your greatest asset is your ability to focus and do what you're best at, which is not billing and social media and email. You're not best at that. And a good executive assistant can walk through your emails and knock out 100 emails and give you the top 10 that are prioritized. It says, here's what you need. Here are the 10 that you need to look at. The rest of them I've already taken care of. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. I've unsubscribed you from these, trash these. This is someone who's trying to pitch you. This is who you need to respond to.
Yep.
This is a pending meeting. They want to schedule a call, things like that. You're absolutely right. Like getting 10 hours a week, doesn't matter, back, it is just so, because for a small business owner, and I imagine that to be like for most small business owners, all the hours are working hours, and you don't want that. You want some time back. That's a fact. I was there. We're
all there at the beginning, but you have to make that transition to go, I'm becoming an entrepreneur who owns a business that runs without me. And my time in the business is less and less and less every year, because I'm building systems and team members and processes. And the other aspect is, many times when you bring in an executive support person to you, or a social media manager, believe it or not, they know more than you do in that area. So it's not like you have to understand everything. You can find a great executive assistant who can help you start taking things. And ours many times comes to us and says, could I start doing that for you? Or have you thought about doing it this way? No. And they help us improve, because they're better at that area. And so we let them do it.
People have a hard time delegating. They have a hard time trusting people. And I completely understand that when it's the first time.
Yeah.
But then once you feel that relief is when you see things get going. And as you get to know your assistant and their skill set, because not everything listed on the resume is what they can do for you. As they get to know your style, as you said, they can make suggestions. They can, take things off your plate that you don't even knew you had them. And also, I think that the 3 most important things you want to delegate, I would say number 1 would be things that you hate doing. That's going to eat up all of your time. And then things that are really time consuming, like small little things. And I think the 3rd would be, as you said, to that point, things you're not good at. You're better off giving that to someone else who can do that in like 5 minutes versus you spending like hours completing that. So
absolutely. Yeah. And so many times those tasks we hate doing, they drain our energy too.
They do.
We really have to be high energy focused for those high productive, high payoff meetings that we're going to have, that your executive assistant can do all the prep work for. I used to spend, and I don't know if I've told anybody this or not, but it's appropriate. I used to spend about 15 minutes to 20 minutes prepping for every one of my podcasts like this. And after a while, I thought, well, that's dumb. I have an executive assistant. My son does. I talk to my son. We talk to her. She preps everything. It takes me literally 1 minute to prep for this call.
To be ready.
Ready to go. I just saved 15 minutes per interview, and I do a lot of these, and I use that 15 minutes to do very high level productive things. That's how you use a virtual assistant. It's amazing. And she does it crazy fast.
You know how much time I spent on research when I first started the business? Just simple research takes hours and hours and hours. Also, my LinkedIn, my first clients for my business, they all came from LinkedIn. So I spent hours sitting in, finding people that I can really provide value to, connecting with them, not just a random connection, but actually finding people that can use the service and explaining how we work. And that took hours and hours. Now you have a lot of business owners that work on LinkedIn and spend hours when they can have someone else do that.
Absolutely. And
just wait for those calls.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we could go down so many different rabbit holes. At the end of the day, if you're a business owner and you're thinking about No, if you're a business owner and you're struggling with too many things to do, and you're not able to get to those high productive things, because and you need to consider reaching out to Jelena and her team, having the conversation about how she and her team can help you offload some of those tasks, giving it to somebody who probably does it better than you, reducing the stress in your life, giving you back some time while your business starts to grow, because you're functioning more as a chief executive officer, a CEO of your business, not a doer in your business. So you need to stand up and own your role and reach out to Jelena. And Jelena, and how does somebody get a hold of you, learn more about you?
Okay, well, my LinkedIn profile, I would say that's the best way to reach me personally. Our website is myva360.com, and then our phone number is 888-MyVA360. So feel free to call that number as well. I know people are hesitating when they reach out to someone. They would rather use the email. I'm all about like, make that phone call. Just I am a phone call away. Just give me a call. There is no obligation whatsoever. We can just chat, see where you're at. I've been through a lot, and I've met so many different people with so many different stories and struggles, and we've successfully helped them. So I would be happy to hear, more stories and help many as I can.
That's great. All right. So Jelena at MyVA360, as in 360, full compass virtual assistants for your business. Jelena,
Correct.
thank you for what you do to help business owners become more profitable and get back more time. And thank you for being my guest on Experts Speak.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.